Land is contaminated, the access road is prone to flooding, at risk to servicing the site by emergency vehicles. Listed buildings, none at Bambers Lane, 2 adjoining the site at Thames Street. Lighting, external lighting systems subject to local planning authority approval in a commercial environment at Bambers Lane. Thames Street, direct impact on adjoining 16 properties.
Thank you, Chairman. I'm really grateful for that, and I hope Councillor Fylde took on board all them points. And as far as the Fylde Arms application, and much reference keeps going back to this decision, we have to judge every application on its own merits. If there are any merits, this application, there is no need, no evidence, and it's in totally the wrong place. So I would urge this committee to support a refusal. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman.
Councillor Fylde.
In terms of reply, I appreciate what Councillor Heather Speaker is trying to do with making that presentation. But I thought the debate around this table had concentrated on the most fundamental aspect of planning policy in this context, and that is need. And the reason why I made
thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
And the reason I made my comment was that when the Bambers Lane application first went before this committee, the officers removed refusal, partly on the fact that there was no need, and yet those members who have spoken today to refuse this application voted even though that need identified by the officers was not needed, but the members voted for it. And if you put the Bambers Lane residents against what you just heard and read out by the planning officer, the Bambers Lane residents use all the arguments that you people at Newton have done. So it's only right that I pointed out the anomaly that in the way we dealt with the Bambers Lane one and this one.
Chairman, there was a need, and we have to judge every application on its own merits. Okay. Bambers Lane is a lot different from Thames Street.
Thank you. Okay,
and can I please ask for a recorded vote?
Can I have 5 hands, please, for the recorded vote? Thank you. We'll have a recorded vote. Okay, members, we're going to move to the vote now. Can I just tell you that, first of all, we're looking at the recommendations on page 32 onwards, and with the late observations in front of you.
Mr. Chairman, can we
have the recommendation is minded to approve subject to the Secretary of State calling in the application for his determination.
Mr. Chairman, would it be wise to rehearse the reasons for a refusal if that vote is lost?
No, because if we're going to have the reasons for refusal, we're going to have an adjournment to go through them all carefully. And as you know, we have to have a second vote for the reasons for refusal if this is lost.
Yeah, but you need a reason for it.
No.
Okay.
Yes, please. If you could just go through the conditions, Mr. Evans.
Chairman, as you said, the recommendation has been amended as per the late observations report.
As the Chairman's
and as the Chairman has read out. It is minded to approve, subject to the Secretary of State calling in the application for his determination. The conditions are set out on pages 32, I've got the same numbers, yeah, through to 35 of the order paper. So just looking at those conditions. Condition 1 is a standard condition regarding the implementation of the planning permission requiring it be carried out within 3 years. Condition 2 has been amended. Condition 2 now reads, the site shall only be occupied as permanent accommodation by gypsies and travellers as defined in Annex 1 of DCLG Planning Policy for Traveller Sites, March 2012. And the reason for that has been amended, again, in order to ensure the site is occupied by gypsy and travellers as the grant of planning permission for a residential caravan park or holiday caravan park may not be appropriate in this locality, and as the use of the site as transit accommodation would lead to an unacceptable increase in towed vehicular movements. So that is the revision as set out on the agenda paper. Condition 3 restricts the number of caravans to 8 and the number of pitches to 4. Condition 4 controls the nature of the vehicles to 3.5 tonnes. Condition 5 prevents the use of the site for commercial activity. Condition 6 deals with sample materials in regard to the amenity building that is proposed. Condition 7 has been amended in terms of its reason for imposition, so that makes it clear that that condition relates to residential amenity and ecology. Condition 8, again, the reason has been changed to make it clear that, as well as the reason set out, that is there to prevent material being brought out onto the highway, as per the recommendation of the Highway Authority. Condition 9 relates to 8 covers the general landscaping as well, which includes soft landscaping, planting, etc. 9 requires that maintenance for a period of at least 10 years. Condition 10 deals with disposal of foul drainage. 11 looks at disposal of surface water. 12 looks at the decontamination of the site, and to ensure that the development of the site is carried out in accordance with the findings of any decontamination report. And then there are additional conditions 13 and 14. Condition 13 is that no part of the site shall be developed until a scheme for the construction of the site access and the off-site highway works of improvement have been submitted to and approved in writing by the local planning authority. The reason for that is to satisfy the local planning authority that the final details of the highway scheme stroke works are acceptable before work commences on site. And finally, condition 14, no part of development hereby approved shall be occupied until the approved scheme referred to in condition 13, that's the one I've just read out, has been constructed and completed in accordance with the scheme of details. And the reason there is in order that the traffic generated by the development does not exacerbate unsatisfactory highway conditions in advance of the completion of the highway scheme stroke works. So those are the conditions. The conditions are generally based upon the model conditions set out in Circular 1195 and have been reviewed, as I said, by Council. We feel that they do make the tests of 1195, and that is the basis of the revised recommendation to the committee, Chairman. A microphone. All right.
Don't be shy.
Just press it quickly and let Billy.
There we go. All right. So if a condition cannot be met, then the development cannot go ahead?
Yes. There are certain what are known as conditions precedent, so those require details to be agreed before development goes ahead. So those are the ones that say prior to any development commencing on site, etc. If those details are submitted and they are not approved, then the development would not be able to go ahead in accordance with this with a planning permission with those conditions imposed upon it. Just to say that there are two schools or two routes that can be dealt with in there. The first is that a condition can be applied to be varied, and that would have to be considered on its merits. The second is that if the council refused to agree details of a condition, that can also be the subject of an appeal as any refusal of planning permission in the same terms.
Well, my reasoning being, if the drainage issues, the sewage issues could not be met according to the conditions, would then that stop the development?
If the applicant was unable to show that the drainage could be dealt with in a satisfactory manner, then they would not be able to proceed with the development.
Quick question, Councillor Oates.
I just want to concentrate on that varying the condition. If it can't be met and the applicant comes back and asks to vary that condition, They may not have a wholly satisfactory answer to it, but it might be necessary to allow it because there's no other answer to it. So it would be an unsatisfactory condition, it would be an unsatisfactory solution, which is why it's so dangerous to allow permission today.
Well, for instance, Councillor Odds, I for one will be watching all the conditions that are being met, and if something is important,
Chairman,
as important as Fylde
Chairman,
drainage.
once you've allowed it, you've allowed it. You can't put the genie back in the bottle.
Okay, when your name's called out, it's approve or refuse. Or abstain.
Mr. Chairman, can you just clarify what we're voting on? Is it a vote for granting permission?
A vote for is granting permission, a vote against or refusal is refusing the application. You want, right? That's been done. Okay. Mr. Curtis will read out your name.
Thank you, Chairman. First of all, yourself, Councillor Aitken.
Approve.
Councillor Eastham. Approve. Councillor Armitt.
Approve.
Councillor Chew.
Against.
Councillor Collins.
Against.
Councillor Craig Wilson.
Didn't hear it, Councillor.
Councillor Duffy.
Against.
Councillor Fydle.
Approve.
Councillor Odes.
Against.
Councillor Mulholland.
Against.
Councillor Nash.
Approve.
Councillor Brickles.
Against.
Councillor Ackroyd.
Approve.
Councillor Redcliffe.
Approve.
Councillor Speak.
Refuse.
And Councillor Wilder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 5, 6, 7, 8.
So the numbers.
8, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 votes for the motion, Chairman, and 7 against.
It has been approved. Subject to going to the Secretary of State for calling in and his determination.